So now we have registered our user. So now we will create some categories in database and create some function to get that categories from our database. So like we have created categories in our database. So this is my category collection, and this is the category ID, and this is the category, like its name is Thai. This is the category image, and this is the ID. So now you can also add more categories, like I will add its ID. So you can define its name, its image, and pass on the fields, like its name will be American burger, and its image. So you can create a lot of categories. So now we will create function to get these categories from our database and show it in our home screen. So first of all, we will create a folder, and we will name that folder as package services. So in this services, we will create a file named category services dot. So in this category service, we will create some function to get our category from our database. So first of all, we will import our cloud firestore. Cloud firestore. So after this, we will import material.dart. Material.dart. So after this, we will create our class category service, and in this class we will create a function named get categories. So this function will return a future. This function and this future is of the type of category model. Category model. So meanwhile, we will also create the category model. So we will go to our lib, and we will create another package that will contain all the models that are present in our app. So first of all, we will create a model name category model.dart. So actually the data that is present in our database is in the JSON format, and it will provide a snapshot of this data. So to convert this data into a readable format that we can use in our app, we have to create some models. So first of all, we will create our category model. So for this, we will import firestore, import cloud firestore.dart. Then we will create a class named category model. So in this class, we will define some static constant. And first constant will be ID, and we will assign it a name of ID that is present in our database. So this ID is the ID that is present in our database. So then we create another static constant image, and we will assign it image. So this image is present in our database field. This image is this one. We will create another static constant name. It will be equal to name. So now we will create some variables that will store these fields that we fetch from our database. So first of all, we will create a string, and we will name it as ID, and we will create another string and name it as underscore name, and we will name another string and name it as underscore image. So the data that we fetch from our database, we will store them in these variables. So as these are private variables, To access these variables in another class, we will use some getters. Without these getters, we cannot use these variables. We cannot fetch these data of these variables in another classes. So we will create get image, and it will accept the id underscore id, and we will create another getter name, and it will accept the name, and we will create another getter, and it will accept the id underscore id. So now we'll create our named constructor of this category model class, category model dot from snapshot, and this will accept a document snapshot, document snapshot, snapshot. So this will accept a snapshot that we will fetch from our database, and we will assign its body. So the id, this id string will be equals to snapshot and id. So basically we are the data we are getting as in a snapshot and its id field. So this id will be this one id. So we are getting this id and we are storing it in this variable. So again we will assign name equal to snapshot and image. So again here we will we will get a snapshot from our database. In that snapshot we will look for image, and that image is this image field. So we are getting this image field and we are assigning this to this variable. We are storing this in this variable. So in same way, underscore image equal to snapshot, sorry, we'll pass name here, name image. So our category model is ready. So now we will go to our services, and we will go to category services dot dart, and we will import. So our category model is now imported here. So we will create some another variables here. So in this class category services, we will create a collection, string collection equals to categories, categories, categories. So this collection is the collection that we have created in our database, this one, this categories. So we will create an object of our Firebase Firestore, Firebase, sorry, Firebase, Firebase Firestore. We will name it as Firestore, and we will initialize this Firebase Firestore dot instance. So in this our get categories function, we will call our Firestore object, and we will call our collection property, and we will pass this collection, basically this categories here, collection. We will call our collection, and then we will call our get function. So this will get the collection, and when we receive this collection we will call our dot then function. So basically this firestore object is calling this collection, so it's getting all these collections. So when it got the collection, we will get the result. We will call our dot then and we will get a result. So basically result is all these restaurants is the result. So when we get the result, we will create a empty list, and we will name it as categories, categories, and it's an empty list, and this list is of the type of category model because it contains categories of type category model.